Hello and welcome back to Brickinet, and today we're going to be looking at my third task grandstand scene. So let's have a closer look. So this build at its most basic level is just a tiered display stand. As you can see, the inside is made up of any number of whatever bricks I happen to have lying around, which appears to be mostly these ones. I've not changed them since I first designed it. I think I've got to take these out because I've got uses for these bricks and put in some more generic and colourful bricks that I've got lying around in the collection. But really, any bricks will do just to hold up this display stand. Got a couple of features in here with the tunnel entrance, not that it goes anywhere obviously, and then the grandstands are simply made up with these 1x2 jumpers just to centralise the minifigs up on the display. The ground cover, largely green plate that I've found on the pad wall, or these curved cornered ones actually came from the Quidditch practice polybag, of which I bought 5 I think, to get my Ravenclaw players. And of course these jumpers were on the pad wall and they just help fill in the gap once our front wall is on. So this is all fairly simple and you can pretty much build it out of whatever you've got. But as I decided I really wanted to display all of my casually attired Hogwarts figures, as well as the Durmstrangs I've made and my Beaubatons and a lot of others, this seemed like the best way to complete that display. So I had to find some of these tiles. So these school badge tiles came way back when in I think the original third task set, and they're very nice prints. Having got hold of these two, I realised that the Hogwarts trunk set has virtually identical badges, and that I could have made this far cheaper than I did. But these were around £1 each, not too much, but still quite a lot for a 2x2 tile, but quite nice printing. This Hogwarts one was slightly more available, but in the end I only need 1 Hogwarts and I needed 2 of the Beaubaton. Oh no, I did need 2 Hogwarts. Got another one on this side. So if we look at some shots from the film, you'll see that black and grey are not the colours of this front cloth in front of the grandstand. They are in fact more of a tan colour, but these original prints came on grey tiles, and it happened that to get the ministry badge on the display as well, I was able to use this sticker from the Ministry of Magic set, which, being light bluish grey, blends nicely with the other badges. So I don't get the repeating pattern all across. That would have been a little too ambitious, but as this area is mostly obscured by minifigs, I think it gives quite a nice feel for what I'm trying to achieve. So these simply stack on the front here. So they're just made up with a variety of snot bricks and other bricks just to... well, that's not the right one. There we go. Bang that on the end there. You can see, maybe you can see the colours of the bricks just here shining through the top. But seeing as my display shelf is very high, that's not a worry to me. But if I do need to recover any of those bricks for use elsewhere, I can soon swap them out for other colours. I'll pop in the other school badges on that side, and it just gives us quite a nice grandstand, I've done it again, grandstand display with all of those school badges and those lovely printed tiles. So as you can see, we're starting to obscure some of the positions, but this is going to become much more bright and colourful once we get the minifigs in. So to finish the main body, I've just got this piece made up of some light azure, light bright blue. I'm not sure what colour this is. But they were nice cheap base plates, and it happened to be a nice sunny colour for the sky. And before the third task actually starts, it's quite a nice day on the Hogwarts grounds. We get to see the sun shining a bit, so I thought this was quite a nice colour. This strap across here is just where I cut up an off-brand base plate to use as the bottom of these group of displays. I had 2 studs left over, so I just ran that across just to help conjoin the 4 together. But these are actually held together with my book covers on the back. So if you've seen the channel before, you may well know that my display shelf features a lot of hidden displays, so that as I'm displaying a particular year in my Hogwarts castle, all the displays on the shelf above will be from that same book or movie. And when they're not on display, they are hidden as books amongst a number of Hogwarts moments, which I also use for storage, as you can see in various videos on the channel. So these are not necessarily particularly Harry Potter. I mean, these 2 titles come from Doctor Strange. It's one of the old Harry Potter tiles. We've just followed the similar format of the Hogwarts Moments books, as well as a few other spine styles, just to discard this sheet. And this just attaches to the back of the grandstand, like this. Just using some brackets. And that will give us our bookshelf side of the display for when we are showing other units. So these break a little bit from the tradition I was using for my displays of condensing down. If you've seen Diagonally, that condenses down into, I think, 7 or 8 volumes of books and takes up much less space when stored than when displayed, which was my original idea. When it came to a second row of books on top of the Moments books, there was actually not the depth because of the weird shape of my house and the little Dido rail. So I had to come up with a different way of displaying. So I was able to make these more permanent static displays, which is what we've gone with. So let's start populating our grandstands. Over on this end, we're going to start adding in our bow batons. So we've got a few of these. I was gathering these up over time, little by little. Obviously, they're all, initially, they were fleur de la cour. So there's only the one body. So I've changed some heads and faces in some hairstyles. This is the new Cho Chang face. Don't have matching hands, that she's wearing a pair of gloves to keep her hands warm. And they're all doing their Macarena dance as they were in the movie. So that's our bow batons contingent. Next we'll move on to some Harry supporters. And as I say, this is just a place to display a bunch of my out of uniform figures which I've accumulated. So I've got those are my old Angelina Johnson stand-in that I had before the new one came out in the House Banner set, and she was already wearing a Quidditch jumper. I just kept her in a house jumper, put on a pair of standard legs. She's just showing a bit of house pride out watching the show. Now all of the people at the front of the stands, and again one of my many Hermiones is going to be at the front. In the film they all seem to have these little sort of hand drum arrangements. So that's what I've given a lot of the front row characters. So we've got Hermione and Ron, and they've both got those little hand drums. Now as we move across, we're going to need to add another section to our platform, just here above the entrance tunnel, because this is where the Hogwarts band are going to be displayed. You can see I've just made a simple drum here. Whoop. I throw it around. That's just a couple of dark brown round plates with a nice medium nougat tile on the top. It just sits on the bandstand. There, let's call it the bandstand this time. On the grandstand front. And we've got a Gryffindor girl using the new Susan Bones hair, because I thought it was perfect. Because if we look at a photograph of the actual actress in the scene, she's got the red hair, she's got the bunches. I believe she's a Gryffindor. So that was perfect. I didn't have room for an entire school band, so I just went for one of the wackiest instruments possible. I took this massive sousaphone type arrangement. So there's loads of crazy brass instruments in the band. So I went for the craziest, just the massive sousaphone. On reflection, probably a mistake. Really difficult to fit him onto the display, which is why I had to extend the front. But I think it just makes quite a nice centre figure. So I believe this is a Neville Longbottom face, possibly from where he's Petrificus totalis. Just use a random set of hair. So this is the flexible ring, and that's just passed around the figure. This hand is just stopping it from wobbling about. We've got a gold bucket handle to give us our valves and our mouthpiece. Then clipped to the back here, just a one of these top grippers, one of these little gold handles that was the hoops in the Quidditch practice set. Found myself with many of these after buying multiples of that set. And again, some more pearl gold and what's this colour? Glitter gold, possibly, just to complete that massive and ludicrous sousaphone. So when I was deciding what instruments I was going to use, I was messing around with euphonium and various trumpet builds and things, but if I'd gone for all the instruments, they would have just taken up way too much space. So I'm just suggesting it with the iconic drummer and that massive sousaphone player. A bit more house pride. I'm going to pop Neville in. Yes, he's way too old to be in this scene, but again, it's one of my out of uniform figures, so he gets to join in this display. Then I actually have far less than I thought I did, so I've just got some random figures made up from various bits from my bits box, just here in the diggery section. I've got all sorts of bits and bobs. I've got Luna, an actual Hufflepuff. There we go. Oh, she's not Hufflepuff, she's a Ravenclaw. What are you talking about, man? Lunatic. And then you can see how low down the barrel we got scraping for bodies here. I think this is from a scarecrow. Bit of Luke Skywalker hair never goes amiss. So we've got this Hufflepuff here. And he is clearly being intimidated by this Cedric clone Durmstrang student. He's really not pleased to have him shouting for Cedric Knight next to him. Another random figure here, just made from bits from the box. You can go in the Cedric supporters section. There we go. Down the front, we're going to have a few seated figures using the same technique I used to build up my courtroom. Just old police torsos turned around because we're never going to see them. They're really just filling up space. Got a couple of ministry dignitaries, which we see in the stands in the movie. We've got a lot of adults and people visiting to watch the tournament. And again, another one, just with a nice blue wizarding hat, just for a bit of colour. And then our space here is going to be filled up with just some more Durmstrang students looking on down here at the bottom, watching our champions enter. So that's my grandstand. Now I've got a space here. I'm going to fill that again with a random figure until I get somebody more appropriate. But originally that space was taken up by another student, but I needed his torso because he has donated the torso for this figure here. And this is my mock of Amos Diggory. So we've got Borgin, or Burke, Borgin's hair, a Dumbledore face just to get the glasses. This torso is from Newt Scamander, dark orange arms, donated from, well, a random minifig. I just bought it for the arms. It was about 20 pence just to get a pair of arms in the right colour. A pair of plain grey legs. As ever, in my style, I have on order a wraparound sort of olive green, sage green kind of cloak from Capes for Minifigs, just to complete this figure, to get that two-part jacket he's wearing. It would have been nice if we could have found some legs with a bit of dark orange printing, but a bit too much to hope for, I think. And this just makes a fairly good stand-in for Amos Diggory. As everyone else has got somebody with them, I thought that Cedric should have two. So here is Cedric, entirely unchanged from the original set he came in his third task uniform. Harry, of course, going to have him just in the entrance to the tunnel. Kind of wanted him not to be the main focus of the scene, because he's an interloper in this whole experience, so he can be hidden away at the back there. Here finally I get to use my official Gabrielle miniature, or minifig rather. So here she is. She's got a sleeping head on the back, but not appropriate to this scene. So she's going to be standing here, supporting her sister Fleur. So we don't have a third task Fleur, so I've just mocked this one up again. Fleur seems to be favouring grey and silvery colours, even though her movie tracksuit is more of the powder blue, a bit more like the Beaubaton's outfits. I just found this torso on Bricklink, and it was the right design, the right gender shape, and the right sort of colour to be Fleur's tracksuit from the third task. So there we go. Fleur and Cedric are now on the thing, along with Harry. Obviously missing one. So we've got another iteration of Karkaroff here. Again, using that same head that I used on him in the second task. So we can have angry or a more passive. This is his original body from the Durmstrang ship, I believe, way back when. Just a new pair of these updated Builder minifig legs, which I really like. The dark grey with the black boots. I was on the Lego site just yesterday looking at these, and for a pair of dual moulded legs, these are very cheap. Very cheap on the pick-a-brick section of the Lego website. So I'm definitely getting a few of those to be used in a galaxy far, far away. So there is Karkaroff, and of course he is accompanying Crumb, which is by far the most ludicrous expense I went to complete this scene. So the torso on Crumb here in his jumper is one that was from the original Black Lake set, again way back when, and it's a full body torso, unlike the more modern version in which we see Crumb has got a singlet on. Here in this original version it was just a one colour torso, which works perfectly for his jumper in the third task. And I've just replaced those on. Well, I didn't replace them because I ordered this torso. I had to go into France to get this one because there are none available in the UK, but there was a French seller, so merci for sending me that piece. I would say it cost an arm and a leg, but it didn't come with any, so I provided my own arms and a pair of dark brown legs, and just have I actually used a Crumb face? I have I? Doesn't feel like a Crumb face. I'll have to go and check. No, here's a Crumb face. Yeah, it's this one. I've got a few copies of this ordered from the advent calendar because they were nice and inexpensive. I was just thrown by the brown eyebrows with the black hair. But there's my third task Crumb, built up from parts. Very nice looking figure that is in the end. So we'll pop him there. Then there is obviously a couple more characters of note in this scene. We have Flitwick. Don't like that this is Flitwick. I always think of him as the choir master. Not my Flitwick. But still, we've got our choir master there directing the band. Obviously he could do with a bit more space, but he hasn't got it. And then announcing the whole thing, we've got Dumbledore just to make his speech. So to make a speech, he of course needs a lectern. And again, I've tried to mimic that ministry branded cloth on the front of his lectern using another one of these stickers. Might be able to see that I just needed to cut the edges off, and it's quite tight. I got it to fit, but at a viewing distance it's not too bad. I'm just going to put that lectern in there, and Dumbledore can stand up there ready to announce the rules for our third task. And there's our display. Quite a nice chunky old piece, quite heavy, especially with this back on there. I mean, if I had much more display space, I wouldn't need to hide these. I don't need to hide them now, if I'm honest. I could just put them away. It's just, if I'm focusing on one thing, I want the other things to just blend a bit more into the background. And by having these bookcases on, I achieve that by allowing them to disappear amongst the other books, and probably tripling the cost of the build to get all those parts. But anyway, this is my third task piece. I am, I think, about 3 pieces away from completing my first task set. If I started this channel today, it'd probably be I've got the piece on order, be the new name of the channel, because it appears to be my perpetual state, just about 1 to 5 pieces short of completing anything in time to make a video for any given week. But here is our third task, Grandstand. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like. And if you'd like to see more hidden scenes from the wizarding world, then please subscribe to Bricking It. Bye-bye. I'm going to fill this hole with Madame Rosmerta. She's got nowhere else to be at the moment, so she can live there.